organization, and this is the list, like the whole users together in that envelope, and then we'll have a list of users here that are in innovation. So these users are in innovation department. Innovation, I'll just use this as my as an indication of that users in innovation. And inside of the users in innovation, we want to have them to have a group. So we're going to have a group of these users. Excuse me, I didn't want to use that. We want to have a group of these users together, and then these users, what we want to have them do is we have a group that would automatically add people to it. So we're going to automatically add people or users based on departments attributes. So we are not going to be manually adding people to this group of people the who are the innovation users, right? I mean the users in the innovation department. And then while we are there, this is going to be done from Entra, Microsoft Entra, MS Entra, and then we're also going to be doing something on Teams. So on Teams, we are going to be looking at maximizing the use of co-pilots in Microsoft Teams meeting in terms of transcription and AI generated notes. What it means is that we are going to, in Teams, we are going to be creating custom custom calling and meeting policy and meeting policies, and then we are going to be assigning the policy to the group, not to the individual in innovation, but for into the innovation group. And then when we do that, we want to check again what happens when you have these users in that group. And at the end of the day, we want to track the reporting. So this is going to be like the last part. We're going to track the reporting, track the reports. Okay. So so we are going to be doing this in Teams, and then this is going to be in Entra. So the flow is going to be, it may not be like a very nice design from my end, but when we start, it's going to make sense. I just want to have this one on my second screen, just so I can have something to work with. So the tracking of report is going to be done from the M365 admin center. So this is what we are going to be doing, and the project right now is just best practice of onboarding pilot users for Microsoft Copilots. Okay, so this is what we are going to be doing today, right? Like the main thing that we're going to be doing, and we are going to be calling the group that we are going to create innovation, because they are the pilot users. So the group name is going to be innovation. Group name is equal to innovation, and then let's try this out a bit. Okay, missed that. Group name is innovation, and then the policy name in Teams is going to be innovation. I'm just making this note so that I can remember when I move it to this other screen. So we are going to start executing this that I've just quickly drafted out as my own design. So the first thing we want to do is to come to the list of the entire users in the organization. So where do I start from? I'm going to start from cmd.ms. So if I do cmd.ms, like I tell people, this is like a go-to place for me. I like it so much that I just need to remember cmd.ms, and I'm going to be working on Entra. So before I go on, I'm just going to close out all of these. so that we can be fresh. So good. So we are going to work on three admin centers. One of it is this, open a web. So it's open. Second one is this here, and then the third one is Teams. So I'm just coming down to Teams, which is this. So that means that we'll have all the admin centers now loading that we want to work. So we'll be flowing from this to Teams and from Teams to M365. So I'll move them in according to our design. So I'm coming here. Of course, if you look at this place in the Entra Admin Center, which is loading up in a bit. Okay, cool. So if you look at the Entra Admin Center now, you would see that I have users and then I have all users, right? So I have users here. So quickly, what I want to do is to create one user, and the users department is going to be innovation. Okay, I have another user that is innovation, but I just want to quickly create one that is in innovation. I'm just going to call the user Dan, so that we can have that here jumping into that scene. So we're going to call it Dan, and then I'll call the user display name as Dan. Okay, so that's it. So the next thing I want to do is properties, and then I just want to put him in the department of innovation. So this is his department. I'm going to call it Innovation. Innovation. That is Dan's department, and I'm going to hit on create without looking into other details. So that means the first task is created. We have a user, or we have users, maybe 2 or 3. So when we want to change Frank's department also to innovation, so I'm just going to edit Frank's properties, and I'm going to call that innovation. So I'm going to prop job information, and then I'll just come to department and I'll call it innovation. I'm going to save this. Okay. So when I do this now, the next task we want to do is to create a dynamic security group. So this group is automatically going to add everyone in innovation to it. So how we do that is to come to groups. When we drop down groups, click on all groups. So if you click on all groups, the next thing you want to do is to click on add a new group, and by default the group that you create from the Entra Admin Center is a security group, and membership type is usually assigned. So it is security group. We are fine to have it as a security group. The group name is going to be what we said, innovation. So that's it. So the next point is, what type of membership do you want it to have? I want it to have the membership type of dynamic user. So dynamic user is, I'm not going to manually add anyone to the group, but everyone that has this property is going to get into this group by default. So the next thing is for us to add a dynamic query. So we can add as many dynamic query as we want to add to a group, but this time we're going to have one dynamic query, and the dynamic query is going to be that if the user's department is innovation, then the user should be in innovation. So what we'll just do is to say, okay, add expression, and then we are choosing property and we are choosing department in the list of the properties, and then we are coming to operator to say, okay, if the user's department is equal to, and then we want to type in here innovation here, right? So if the department of the user is innovation, when you click here, it will bring out the syntax rule for you. So reading syntax rule is saying user.department is equal to innovation. So the next thing we do is to click on save. So when we click on save, so there is a way to validate membership rule. So if we come to all groups, so we can search for innovation. So this is the group that we created. We did not add anyone to it. So just within some minutes, I would expect Dan, or expect Frank, and one other user that I know has a department as innovation, to have direct access to that. But then if I come to members and I click here, let's check. I've not added anyone, so it's possible that they are here already or not. So they are not yet here, which is cool, working in accordance with what I would have loved to also show. And what I would do next is to come to I'll come to dynamic membership rule. So if I come to dynamic membership rule, I'm going to have here validate rule. So if I want to validate rule, check out something. If it shows me green, then it means that the user is properly set. Then if it shows me not green, so what this means is that it is going to be the user is not going to be added. So first of all, we want to check done. So if we check for done, we say D-A-N. So what happens is that if I click on this and I say, so I can also check for Frank. So if I check for Frank, I want to selecting Frank, so down on Frank. So let me search for Joseph itself, and I'll bring this up. Okay, so the next thing I'll click on select. So if I validate these users now, you find that it is showing green for Dan, because yes, the dynamic query is saying if the department is innovation, so it is checking for me green. So what this is doing is it's checking for Frank green and it's checking for Joseph red. Now I will explain this. What this means is that Dan's properties, Frank's properties were well structured, they are good, but Joseph is not correct. So how can this be useful to you? If you created a dynamic rule and you go to check, just as you check the members and you don't see the users, just come and validate. If it validates green, you just need to have patience, and then the users are definitely going to get it over time, right? So now, having done that, if I come back to members, I will expect Dan to have been in that group and Frank to already be in that group. Yes, of course. So we have three users, even though there was no user added to this group manually. I have John Doe. John Doe's department is innovation. Frank's department, like we altered that property, is innovation, and Dari is also innovation. Now the next thing we want to do is to assign license to the group and not to the individual. So Microsoft recommend you adding license or role to a group other than just users, because the manual process of adding this license to this user may be, you know, time consuming, and it may not be consistent. So just so you are consistent, you can use this to say now, okay, so having added these three people, you want to add license to them, but you don't want to mount the license on an individual. So what you do is, so it means that we are done with the Entra Admin Center, and then we are moving on to the M365 Admin Center to go and assign license to that group. So if I click on show all and I come to billing, I come to your products, and then I'm going to see that I have Copilot license in my demo environment. I'm just waiting for it to come up. So when it comes this time, so what I want to do is come on, be nice. So that's just taking some time. Yeah, this is here. I have Copilot. So what I want to do is to click on here, and I click on okay, so maybe I go to licenses instead of your products. I think it's easier for me here. So if I select Copilot now, so I will come to group, and then I will say assign license, and then I'm going to search for innovation. Innovation. So what it means is that I'm giving innovation the license directly, which means that anybody who is in whose department is innovation, then the user is going to dynamically fall into that group. That's one. Two is that the user is automatically going to pick up license from the license pool. But you have to make sure that the number of license counts you have is equal to or more than the number of users that are member of that group. Now, I will show you a difference when I come to active users. So my user was given license directly. So if I go to my user, I will have access to remove the license from the user bleed. But if I want to do same for Frank, then you will see the difference. So for example, this user, um, if I click on this, right, and then I would have option to go to license. And if I go to license, you will see that I have option to remove the Copilot license from this user. And I click on save, and that is done. This is because the license itself was assigned to this user directly. But what happens in terms of Frank, when I come to Frank's account and I go to license, and then I will see this is grayed out because the license was not assigned to Frank directly, but this inherited by group-based licenses and can't be changed here. Manage group-based license from the group pilots in these details for that, because this license was not assigned to Frank directly. So the way Frank can live here is once we are done with the pilot phase of the project and we want to remove Frank and maybe bring in another guy for that test, then we can, once we remove Frank from the group, then Frank leaves the license behind, and it also leaves the group and even the policies that we are going to be creating now, right? So let us move on way quickly. Now we've seen that. So if I also come to Dan as well, I'm also going to see the same thing that I saw in Frank. I'm also not going to have option to remove the co-pilot license that he has inherited from the group also. So what we can do right now is to come here, and then the next point we want to do is we look at how to optimize co-pilots in Microsoft Teams, right? Because one of the major places where you see Microsoft Copilot used is Teams, and one of the way you can cheat yourself as an administrator and as an organization is to disable transcription for users that you have given Copilot licenses to. It does not really add up because it's a way of cutting down on the usage of your Copilot. However, if compliance does not allow you to, create, transcription for any reason, but you want to test this out for a group of users, of course, this is how you can do it. So that way, you are coming to the Teams Admin Center, and the Teams Admin Center is admin.teams.microsoft.com. So I'm just going to quickly um, do the authentication real quick. 34. Okay, so I'm going to the Teams Admin Center now. Okay, I hope that's where I clicked earlier anyway, but if it's not, I can quickly just add the URL. So what I want to do this time is to, yeah, that's the right place. What I want to do this time is to look at the policy I have, create policies that will allow this user to, one, be able to transcribe calls on a one-on-one call, and then transcribe meetings in terms of conferencing, right? So first of all, I will come to meeting. So if I drop on meeting, you see meeting policies here. So if you look at meeting policies, then I have org policy, which is the org-wide default policy. This is meeting template policy actually, but I'm looking at meeting policies, right? So I'm coming to meeting policies up here. So again, I'm going to call the meeting policy innovation. So if I click on, now look at something here. If I look at the global policy, right? If I check it out very well. So one of the things that actually speaks to Copilot in terms of policy in Microsoft Teams is the transcription. Because if you come to this place, for example, you come to Copilot here from the M35 Admin Center, and if you go to settings, right, and if you come to Microsoft Teams, where are you? Copilot in Teams meeting. So it's going to take you to the Teams Admin Center, not just taking you to the Teams Admin Center, it's taking you straight into the meeting policy, not just taking you into Teams policy, but it's taking you into the transcription part of the meeting policy. So what that means is that Copilot is really very important. Transcription is really very important for you to enable for users that are using Copilot because of the AI generated notes after meeting that your secretaries, those who are responsible for taking minutes, can really look into while they use Copilot. So you don't want to cheat yourself. You can see that it is coming down straight to say, look at this place, to say transcription, right? Copilot here, on with saved transcript required. On with saved transcript is required. So it does not make economic sense for you to turn this off. But just in case there are transcription, compliance reason or anything that actually speaks to you not enabling transcription. But if you are allowed to, if transcription is disabled for your tenant, but you want to test out pilot users of Copilot, of course, you would want to consider turning on transcription for those number of users, and that's where we are. That's why we are here. So now looking at this, right, for the global policy, transcription here is turned on, which is fine, but I'm talking about situation where it is turned off, and you want to create a policy only for the innovation, the onboarding guides to check out how transcription works. I mean, how Copilot works in Microsoft Teams meeting. Then you want to add policy for meeting policy. So you want to call it innovation from our design, innovation. So that is the name of the policy. So what is your interest here may not necessarily be this one, depend on how you want. But my major concern here, or our major point of call here, is on the part of the um, transcription, right? So recording and transcription, just to make sure that this is turned on, and then you can save. So once you save this, the next thing you want to do is the second place where you can see transcription is on your calling policy. So meeting is conference, that is for meeting, as the name implies, for two or more persons, and then you can also have related topic to discuss when it comes to calling policy. This is speaking to a one-on-one call or a group call, right? So if you come to, not phone numbers actually, so if you come to calling policies, also you have option to create a policy, and then you allow transcription for a one-on-one calling policy. So I'm going to call this innovation, and then what did I click? I'm not sure. This is call hold policy. So I'm going to discard this, but I'm going to come to calling policies, and then I will add a new calling policy here, and I'm going to call that policy innovation. So what happens here is I'm going to make private call is on. So cloud recording for calling is by default turned off. So I'm going to turn it on, so that just in case the user wants to record a one-on-one call. And then the next thing is the transcription here is also turned off by default. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to save it. Now, the next point is, how do I assign this policy not to individual, but to the group of these persons who are carrying out this? Just so when I remove the user from the group, then the user is no longer bound by the policy, and it's good the license assigned to this user is also going to get off the user, right? So instead of manually doing this thing, only one action is required. Change the department of the user to another department, and the user dynamically leaves the group. And once it dynamically leaves the group, it's going to drop the license. And once it drops the license, it's going to drop the policy, because once the user leaves here, the user can revert to the policy that was mounted on the user, or the global policy. So how do we assign these policies to users? So now we have created innovation policy for calling policy. So what we do is to click on the group assignment, group policy assignment. So if we click on the group policy assignment, so the next thing we do is to click on add. And when we click on add, it is time for us to search for our innovation group. So what this means is that we are going to add it to innovation, and this time we are going to select which policy we want to add to him. We want to add the innovation policy to the users who are onboarding Microsoft Copilot in our environment, who are the pilot users. So I'm going to hit on apply here, and then again, it's very important that we state this. So if the user was in different group assignment or group policy assignment, you want to make the priority of this one as one, so that this one applies, to be, take precedence over the other. So we have applied the innovation calling policy. So the second policy we want to check is the innovation. We want to mount the innovation meeting policy on the guys in innovation who are going to be the pilot users of Microsoft Copilot. So we are coming straight to meetings, and then we're going to meeting policies here. Where is it? Okay, no, meeting policies here. So again, same way we did in calling policy, we are going to be doing the same thing with this by clicking on the group policy assignments. And then when we do that, the next point is for us to click on add. And when we click on add, it's for us to search for the group. So the group is still innovation. Remember, this group was created from the Entra ID, and then just within this group is already syncing and having a handshake with the Microsoft Teams Administrative Center. So now what happens is that here we're going to also rank it as one. And which policy are we talking about? We're talking about the innovation policy, right? Which we have transcription and recording turned on. So if I click on apply right now, we confirm this, and then this policy again, I must quickly say what that statement is. The notice we had on the screen was saying that the policy will take some time to apply, and the the effect of that policy with the speed at which the policy takes effect is a function of how many users are in the group. So when you have more users, then you have longer duration to have that license. I mean, the policy get applied on those users. So having said that, we have been able to create the group. I'll just quickly bring up our rough design here. We've been able to create we have our pool of users from which we have created the innovation guys, and then we created a dynamic security group from Entra Admin Center, from which we created custom calling for our meeting policies. We assigned the policies to the group, and then the next thing is what the admin tracking center. And then, of course, we said the name of the group. This was just we saying something. That means we're almost at the end of our project. But then let me quickly take us to how it will be for these users in Teams. Now, I must state it quickly that yes, the fact that you have transcription enabled for these users still does not mean that the users will not need to enable transcription while in their meeting. So they still have to by themselves click on record, and then if they don't want to record, at least they can turn on transcription so that the AI generated notes can pick what is being transcribed and form a note out of it, and even give like a follow-up call and details about action plans that are there. So I'm just going to quickly show you like meetings where people who were in that meeting had their meeting transcription turned on for them, and they equally had the calling policy that allowed them to have transcription. But this time, what applied to this user is actually strictly based on the meeting policy that was assigned to them. So quickly, I'm just going to check this meeting. Maybe this meeting where I was training my mentees on. Okay, I'm not sure this was. Oh, it was recorded and transcription was also enabled on Exchange. So I'm going to click on recap. So when you click on recap, then what happens is that you will have the AI generated note here. So the reason why you have this AI generated note is because transcription is enabled for the users, right? So at any point, if you look at it, at any point you click on, it will just take you to all the details that you need to have within it. But these are all the things that were discussed in the course of that meeting. So now it is different from transcripts. However, if these users do not enable or turn on recording, then the transcription will not, if they not turn on transcription, then the AI note will not be available. So I'm going to be showing you an example of a meeting that, yes, all the policies still remain the same, but the users themselves did not turn on transcription during the course of the meeting. And what is the error sign we are getting? Get AI powered meeting note, turn on transcription, and AI can generate notes and suggest tasks to follow up on. So this is for the AI note to be generated, you have to turn on transcription. So just very quickly before we wrap up is the part that speaks to the reporting according to our rough design here. So we're just coming to the reporting and just to quickly show us, and then we can wrap up from there. So if this is the admin center and you have Copilot license, then you are going to definitely have the option to you're definitely going to have the option of Copilot down here. But if you don't have Copilot license, you are not going to have this available. So from here, you can go to Copilot reporting to see what and who is using Copilot in your environment. So what they mean is that having assigned this pilot users license, you can also track the rate at which they make use of them and how much they're exploring them. Yeah, there is a skeletal report on Copilots here. You can come to discover to have like a little bit of more granular reports, but the major place where you can see these reports is when you go to reports down here. So if you click on reports here and then you click on usage reports. So if you click on the usage report, then you are going to see like the entire view of all the applications in the environment. You have like a lot of granular things you can look at, but this is not our core for today. Our major core is for the M365 Copilot. So you come to usage. So if you come to usage, you're going to see the rate at which people use them. You see who is using them. You see how they are using them. You can see Sunday 25th and how they are using them in different applications. You can also quickly download that report just in case you want to submit for audits and for any reason. You can download it. I'm just opening it. And where is it opening? Okay, it's opening here directly. So it is showing activity user detail, and then you can expand it just so you can see on what date what is being used, who is using what, and then according to the apps that they use, it will be here. But I must quickly tell you something, that you are seeing the names, the email address, and the names here is because you have not concealed the display. So what I mean is that you may want to do the same thing I just did, and you will not be able to see the name of the users displaying this way. So just to wrap up, how you do that is if you come to org setting, where are you? So if I come to setting and I come to organization or not that, excuse me, if I come to settings and I go to org settings, yeah. So I'm going to see reports down below here. Where are you? Yeah, reports here. So if I click on reports, so if I do conceal user group and site name in all reports, so this is not now going to be displaying the name of the users to me when I go back to reports to spool out the report for usage. So usage reports. So if I come here now, I'm showing you this so that just in case you go to spool your report and you are unable to identify the users on that list, so look at it, it's just showing numbers and characters, nothing. So if you go to download this report also, that is the same thing you would see. Where are you? Yeah, exports. Just going to do that now. And if I open this, so what happens is that you're going to have this, and definitely anyone will get confused with this kind of report because I do not know who you are talking about, right? So if you ever run into this issue, and then you want to know who use what, you can come to settings, org settings, and then you come to reports down below here. Where are you? Reports, and then you can come to uncheck this and save it, and then come back to your reports. Click here, come back to your reports. I'm wrapping up now, please. So usage reports, and then you come to co-pilots. So this way you can say, hey, you are not using this, I'm going to remove the license from you. So yeah, the name is displaying again. So if I export, it's going to display the name. So that's all we can handle today. I hope we're able to handle our demo projects for this time. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Joseph. That was very informative there. Very important stuff to know if you're using Teams for the transcribing, especially for if you have team members that missed the call, they can just go in and get the transcript and maybe just get Copilot to summarize it. And very great. Yeah.
Great demo.
Yeah.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Yeah, I just had something quick there to show you. Just present my screen. So every now and again, 1 second, I'll share my screen. Microsoft has these challenges, and they kind of offer free certifications for people. So it's called the Microsoft Challenge, and it is learn.microsoft.com. Can you see my screen there, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Microsoft Challenge anyway, and I'm just going to show you. These are to take the challenge. It's Microsoft Learn Challenge Ignite Edition, and this first one I've signed up here myself for it. So it tells you there, you have to have a Microsoft Learn account, and if you don't have one already, you can just register, and it's free. Some great stuff in there. And the challenge, it started already in November, the 19th of November, and you have up until January, the 10th of January 2025 to complete it. So if you can see down here on this one, so I can just go back. So if you do this one here, prepare for next generation data analytics with Microsoft Fabric. Like the Microsoft Fabric is kind of the new thing out there at the moment, and the free exam voucher. So if you complete this one, so I'll just move on there, I'll just show you. So when you click on that, this will come up here. Awesome, you've been enrolled in the thing. So you click on Start Learning, and it will just bring you into Microsoft Learn and where all the modules are. So if you can see there, it'll track your progress, and it'll tell you how long it'll take you. So this one is not too bad. It's 11 hours and 58. So 12 hours, and you are between now and the 11th of January or 10th of January. So it's not that bad. And you get a free voucher then to do the exam. So you can see I started it already, got a couple of modules done. So we'll just going to show you, and click into one, and we'll just see what the actual module looks like. So the first part of it there, right, it's kind of exploring end-to-end analytics with Microsoft Fabric. And there's a kind of look of what One Lake is, the whole architecture of the actual thing. So it's connecting all the pieces like data integration, data engineering, data warehousing, data science, business intelligence, and all that kind of stuff. So guys, it's not that bad. So there's a study guide for it then. So it's a new course, 25 to 30 for this section here, implementing security and governance, and it's broke down into all different sections. And all this stuff is freely available on Microsoft Learn and Microsoft Docs. So if anybody wants to do that one, there is other ones on there as well if you wanted to, but I'm not sure if they're giving the free voucher with these ones, so you need to go down and read through them. So it's saying here, for a limited time, Microsoft Fabric Community is offering the free DP600 exam voucher for the first 5,000 eligible applicants. So don't wait around, go and get it. You must apply no later than December the 10th, says there. So a couple of days left yet. So today is the 7th. So 3 days left. So get going, guys. So that's all I have on that. Any questions on that, guys?
I know if you attended Ignite in person, there were free exams. So this is nice to see that, even though that's virtual, or that, take the Microsoft Learn Challenge, can get a free exam as well. That's great, Frank.
Yeah, that's good that they had that at the Ignite. And could you take the exams there and then, or did they just give out vouchers?
They gave out, I think you had to sign up to take it at the event. So it was, I don't know if it was a voucher program. I believe Lance took an exam or two, and I think he got like a second exam that was in either early release offered for free. And I'm not sure if it was like just sign up at the event and they apply a voucher for you. I don't think they gave you a voucher, and you had to take it while you were at the event. So Lance took a MD 102 and passed that, and then he took a GitHub exam for Copilot, and that was another free exam, and did not pass that one, but shared that with us on our recap on Wednesday this week.
Okay, that was cool.
So whether you were ready for the exam or not, you just take it.
Yeah, that's the benefit of the free ones, right? Is you can attempt the exam whether you feel fully prepared or not. He shared with us on Wednesday. And I know I was playing around with Frank the beta of the StreamYard.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The
StreamYard.
Yeah, it's like the mobile app.
Oh, okay.
So I can join from my mobile device. I can even switch around the camera here. If I do so successfully, let's see. I can flip it around and then use it this way.
Oh, cool.
And you've got most of the effects that you would have. So I can do virtual backgrounds from the mobile device. I can change my audio avatar. There's some other things that you can do, but it's just optimized on iOS for your phone. So Frank and Joseph, I know before we went live, I joined from my phone just because I was getting back to my computer. The only thing that I would love to see in this mobile version for StreamYard is the ability that I have from my desktop, and that's to stream to other locations. So I haven't seen that in the beta just yet, and I just checked. I don't see it in Android, the Play Store just yet. But this is super nice if you're on the go and you just want to use your join an event. I think it supports going escape mode.
That's cool. Yeah, so that was the difference, because it was shown on the portrait mode and now it's on the landscape, which is more like the same thing, right?
Right. Yeah, it feels like I'm maybe at a computer, just as long as I have a place to, pop socket or prop up my phone properly, I can go either direction. I can go portrait mode, and maybe you can fit more people on the screen. Not sure if that helps, or if it looks like it's taking up the same square or rectangle that it would normally take up, but you can go either direction with the orientation of the phone. So I thought I'd show that off real quick.
Cool.
And Frank, do you have other topics, or do you want me to share a couple things about Ignite?
Yeah, I'd love you to share some stuff for us then.
Sure. Let me see if I can share my screen here real quick. I think I've got Chrome set up. Do I have other windows set up? Let's see if Safari is going to work. Chrome has lost permissions. So it looks like I need to give Chrome or edge permissions to share. Let me turn off my camera here. It looks like it wants to restart Edge here real quick, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure, man. No worries. So, yeah. So, guys, if you're looking to do the DP 600 exam, Microsoft Fabric Community is offering a free voucher if you do the community channel. Throw it up there. Here we have Dan back again.
Thank you. Now let's see if the sharing is going to work. There we go. Okay. Hopefully you can see.
Yeah, you can see your screen there now. Yeah.
Yeah. So here are a number of things that I captured while we were at Microsoft Ignite. Everything from our get-togethers with different folks from the MTC. The new technology center name is the Microsoft Innovation Hub. So we had Craig from the Innovation Hub and a number of us that went over and visited that on Friday afternoon. We took some photos from up on the 70th floor. Microsoft is on the second floor with the Innovation Hub, and then the 70th floor in the building is open to anybody in the Aon Center to go up and enjoy a drink, refreshments. They've got food. They have a pool table. They have a dart table, and just gorgeous views of the city. Teresa Cyrus was there. This was her first visit to Chicago ever. So she got entertained by visiting the Envisioning Center. I don't know if they've renamed it, maybe Innovation Hub or something, or Innovation Center. But this room is basically a ultra widescreen, a 32:9 display that Craig can control either picture-in-picture with multiple computers, or just do a really large widescreen PowerPoint across the entire backdrop in the office. And I believe these are now at all of the innovation centers around the US. And then there are plenty of smart boards and neat boards and Xbox displays. All of the surfaces that I think I can recall seeing are there at the Innovation Center or Innovation Hub. And then they have a number of Microsoft Teams rooms as well, Joseph. So one thing that I am really fond of doing when I'm teaching the Microsoft Teams courses is to spend one day in the Microsoft office because they have all the toys that I don't have at my home office. And it's a good way just to let students see what different Surface hubs look like, Teams room systems, different cameras, different speaker and microphone solutions from Shure and Jabra and Logitech. Logitech did a number of the rooms at the Microsoft offices and integrated those. Here's a photo from one of our get-togethers. And that's from the get-together as well with Leslie and David from Microsoft and Donna and Charity, Rachel, Teresa, and others. We had trying to recall her name offhand, and it's escaping me. But here I am at the Microsoft Ignite Chicago event. And then this is from the Microsoft office as well. They also announced next year. So Frank and Joseph, from a planning perspective, we know the dates and we know it's going to be in San Francisco, not Chicago, or Illinois. So West Coast, not Midwest. And prior to that, it was in Seattle for a couple of years. And pre-pandemic, it was in Orlando, Florida for 3 years. So I don't think Ignite has ever made it to San Francisco. I would guess the predecessor to that, which was Microsoft Tech Ed, was I know it was in California. I went to Los Angeles one time. I'm not sure how often or if it was in San Francisco, but it moved around when it was branded Tech Ed years ago. That's a little bit about the Microsoft event that was held in Chicago. In
2024, Microsoft Ignite.
Any questions about the Ignite event? That's from McCormick Place. And this is from the party. The Thursday night party was held at Navy Pier, which is both a pier for boats that go out on Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is large enough that you can't see the other side, so it feels like you're looking at an ocean. But the party was in the evening. This year was the 40th anniversary of Chicago house music, which was originated in 1984. So they had some photos and history about house music at Navy Pier and a couple video reels. I think this is running through either late November or early December. I haven't been back to view this or take in that particular exhibit. And then I think I've got a couple. Yeah, this is an error message that we saw at Navy Pier. And I think those are all the photos that I had stacked there.
Yeah, so it's really fun.
Yeah, it was a good event.
Yeah,
So it was on for a whole week then, was it?
Yeah, so it was Monday pre-day, and we had an MVP event, MVP Connect, on Monday evening. So Monday was a pre-day for attendees to sign up for optional workshops or, register and get ready for Tuesday. Tuesday morning, very early in Chicago, I think accommodating a worldwide audience, was the keynote. And the keynote consisted of Satya making a bunch of announcements and, key results and looking back over the last year of Copilot being announced and available. And then the keynote worked into just the sessions from Tuesday to Thursday. And then Friday morning was sessions up till about lunchtime, I believe, formally. I'm not sure if there were things Friday afternoon that were formal for Ignite attendees. But since we were in Chicago, McCormick Place, where the conference was held, is probably about 3 miles from the Microsoft Innovation Hub. And so I know I played taxi or escort quite a bit that week, driving people from McCormick Place to the places that we rented for folks that were out of town. We had 2 community condos for women and 1 for men. And we had 4 men, including 1 student ambassador from Chicago, stay at the men's condo. And then we had 3 women from all over the world. We had Europe, both Malta and the UK represented, and then somebody from the US, Teresa Cyrus, also served as kind of our ambassador, if you will, from a standpoint of her and Rachel from Malta being involved and coming up with the idea of doing these community condos for either MVPs or MCTs, Microsoft certified trainers, or even just professionals. We had some IT professionals stay with us as well.
Oh, very cool.
So it was a really neat event.
Interesting week. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. We're looking for sponsorship for the future. And Frank, I know I'll be over in Ireland and then over in Manchester with you and hopefully Joseph and others at the MCT UK event. I think Opeyemi Stephen said he was going to try to either meet us or.
Yeah,
to
So
mentor.
I met with, yeah, Stephen was in Nigeria. I went to visit him and we had a very good time. We discussed
Cool.
about that. He said he would try to be around. Yeah.
Cool. And I know I'm talking to Timidayo, and Teresa and I are planning to go over to Nigeria in late June 2025. About
Yeah.
6 months from now.
We're going to be having cloud. We're going to be having cloud festival here.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool event.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so that's what I have for all of you
Okay.
today.
So yeah, we're just coming up on the hour, so we'll sign off. And thanks again, Joseph, for the demonstration on the teams with dynamic groups. Very good. And don't forget to do the community challenge, people. Microsoft Fabric community are giving free DP 600 exam. And thanks, Dan, for sharing all the stuff on Ignite and StreamYard app.
No problem.
And we'll be back here next week at the same time. Probably be the last one before the new year, I'd say. Yeah.
I was going to say, congratulations, Frank. This will be 2 years of the Azure and AI Show.
Yeah.
Every single week, with maybe a couple exceptions, like for the holidays. Or
Yeah, I think this year now I got people to kind of fall in for me. Joseph done it 1 week there, and I got Solomon to fall in. So yeah, we kept it going for the whole year, you know.
Prathap's been, host,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your StreamYard subscription. I don't know if that's well known, but between you sharing yours, and I think I shared mine at the very beginning, but we've done yours for at least a year now.
Yeah.
That has really helped a lot of community members to not have to have their own. You can have a team with StreamYard or Restream, and I know that is appreciated by me and Teresa and Joseph and others on top in the community. So thank you so much.
thank you very much, Frank.
No worries, then. So guys, next week, last one before the new year. So thank you.